and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Today is going to be my August update. So life, homeschool, all of that good stuff. I'm going to try to make this video short. I feel like I try to make every video short and they always end up longer than I had intended. So hopefully I will actually be able to keep this short. The one thing I really want to make sure I fit into this video is a little bit more about how it has been going with the core knowledge language arts curriculum. If you saw in my last video, I had started talking about it and then Alani interrupted and I just moved on to something else. I completely forgot that I had been talking about core knowledge. So I do want to make sure that I get a little bit more info into this video. But that was my 1 month of homeschool video, and now we are actually closer to almost 2 months of homeschool, which is crazy. I guess we're kind of like a month and a half into it. So one, if you're watching this closer to the beginning of me uploading, then happy September. I can't believe we are already here, but here we are. So August was very busy, very exciting, and it also had some not so great things, and I'm gonna get into all of it. So one of the things that made August fantastic was that my parents came to visit. If you are new around here, my parents moved to the Bahamas a few years ago, and we miss them. We miss them so much, but it is really nice when we are able to get there or when they are able to get here. They come here more than we're able to make it there. So far, we've made it there twice since they've moved there. I did lots of videos of the times we visited, so I will make sure to link those if you are interested. So yes, it is always special when my parents visit. I was not sure how much we would get to see them because a little bit before we had planned to see them, Emmy got sick. So Emmy had some sort of bug, and we really don't go too many places, especially in the summer when things are just a little more crowded with school being out. We don't go to many indoor places outside of church. So I really do think that's probably where she ended up catching whatever it was that she had. But luckily for her, it didn't last very long and we were able to still spend time with my family. We actually had a lot of family events that weekend. So I'm so glad that she was better in time for us to be able to enjoy everyone and just spend that time together. One of the worst things that kind of came out of Emmy getting sick was me getting, I guess, whatever it was she had. So not long after she got better, I started noticing what I thought were hives, but what turned out to be a rash. I thought it would just go away over time because I've gone back and forth with skin issues before, so I thought just like give it time and it'll go away. But it kept getting worse and worse to the point where it has spread all the way to my neck, my face, down to my legs, not past my knees, but down my arms to my hands. So it just continued to get worse. I ended up going to the doctor and they were able to give me some steroid and advise me to do certain things with like creams, and that really didn't help. But I had also made a dermatologist appointment. The dermatologist was able to figure out what was going on and pinpoint it as just my body's way of reacting to whatever Emmy had gotten, unfortunately. So she did say I shouldn't expect to react to like future things this way. It kind of was hopefully a one-off situation and really won't happen again. But the like big downside to it, beside the fact that I'm already just covered in a rash from almost head to toe, but the big downside is that it lasts a minimum of like 6 weeks. So she has me on an oral as well as just like topical creams, all prescription stuff. And I'm like, I guess 3 to 4 weeks into it by now, and it can last 6 to 12 weeks. So that has really kind of put a little bit of a damper on just life in general. I don't know how much you can see in a video like this because I'm wearing makeup, but I have kind of showed a little bit more on Instagram. But Evan and I do have our anniversary trip to Mexico planned. Luckily, what I have, as well as any of the creams I'm using, do not make me photosensitive, so I can still be out in the sun without it causing more damage. The only thing is how much I really want to expose my body when I do feel like I don't necessarily look healthy. Like, I just feel that sometimes people, if they do see it, might think like, should I even be near this person? Like that kind of stuff. So it's more of like a personal feeling there, my own insecurities about it. A lot of people have told me it's not the first thing they notice, but it is, for me, the first thing that I notice. So that has been like the super unfortunate thing. Obviously, there's no timing that's great timing, but just the fact that this was like the only anniversary trip we've ever planned, and this is kind of just like our big getaway. So it does stink with the timing, but again, what can you do? Before I do jump into homeschool stuff, I will just give a like house stuff update. Really not much has changed. We've just been continuing to pack, but at this point, it's so crazy to think that we're like a month out from being in our new house, like actually being settled, since there is some work we are doing before we fully move in. But so cool to think that we're about a month out from being a little bit more settled in our new home. So moving on to homeschool stuff. It's been really going well. We did miss a few days with Emmy not feeling well and me just really trying to prioritize caring for her, as well as just the initial what is happening with me, and then also the time where my parents visited. So I hadn't originally put in that amount of time for us to be missing things, but luckily, because of the way I've planned out our year, we really do have a lot of flexibility. So I'm really not concerned with it, but there were just some days where we did miss things. Going into core knowledge though, before I do forget, it has really been going great. We've really been enjoying it, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the assessment, because after a domain, there is an assessment. And Alani did really well when it came to the knowledge of the story, but when it came to the way the vocabulary assessment was done, she did fairly poorly on it. And it was one of those things where knowing her and just being able to understand the way the assessment was, I realized pretty quickly that it wasn't her lack of knowledge, but more the way the assessment was given. So using the same information, I just presented it to her in a different way, and it was great. She knew exactly what they were talking about. She knew exactly what the vocabulary terms were, all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's just so important to remember that you don't have to follow something exactly as it is laid out. Honestly, it was a lot of just the way the questions were worded, and I just reworded them in a different way that I knew she would be able to understand a little bit better. So those are just things to keep in mind, not just with core knowledge, but with anything. Like, you know your child, and if there's just a different way to go about something like an assessment, feel free to do that. I mean, as long as it's not something that is like required by the state and you have to give it a certain way, then why not present it in a way that your child is going to understand and not be frustrated with? Also, even though it is something that should have been so easy, we've actually started falling behind on the science experiments for sunlight. I almost forgot the name. Mostly because I really do like the do together thing, and then we kind of fall, that's like the optional thing, and then we fall behind on the actual experiment. But that kind of just means we have a bunch of experiments lined up for a rainy day, so I have no problem with that. We will get to them when we get to them. We're kind of having fun, even like redoing some of the ones that she really liked. For example, her rainbow one, her absolute favorite one, so we've done it a few times, just with different circumstances, different rooms, different strength of the flashlight, that kind of stuff. So that's been really cool. Hopefully you can't hear it, but the ice cream truck is going by, and I'm really hoping my girls don't just like barge in and start asking for ice cream. But one of the great things about August is the start of the schools around me. So a lot of the schools around me started, which meant that I felt a little more comfortable taking the girls out to do things. It's mostly about just me being by myself and there being lots of like people, big crowds. I don't love that, so I really just prefer for it to be a smaller crowd, and I just have no problem with that. So we have gone to the Please Touch Museum, and the girls had so much fun with that. They had a Wild Kratts exhibit, and my daughters love Wild Kratts. It's their favorite show. So I wanted to make sure we got in while it was still going on, because it's over now. But I wanted to make sure we got in, and I wanted to make sure we got in during a time where there weren't going to be a ton of people. So I literally took them on what was supposed to be the first day of school for lots of the schools around me, and that worked out really well. We've also made it to the zoo, and it's just been great to really just get out a little bit more and kind of just feel more comfortable exploring. Something that didn't happen in August, and it never was the plan, but I did not start school for Emmy yet. We still have been doing lots of fun activities, especially on Zern. And I also got this magnetic numbers and color sorting set. So Simply Magic reached out to me and asked me if there was anything that they had that I would like to try. And this definitely was something that I thought would be great for Emmy. I love magnetic stuff. You guys know I have the magnetic whiteboards and we have so much fun with that. But this I actually put on our fridge and our dishwasher, and Emmy and Alani have both loved it. I got it specifically for Emmy, but I knew Alani would enjoy it as well. But it comes with 11 magnetic paint cans. So you have the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, but then it also comes with pink, black, white, gray, and brown. And I really like that because I feel like some of those colors just aren't represented enough in things, and those are still colors that kids should know. So my girls have had a lot of fun with this, not just sorting the colors, but we can talk about how primary colors make secondary colors using these as examples. We can talk about the different animals and the different food as part of this. They can sort those different things based on what they are, living, non-living, lots of different ways to approach this. It also came with a QR code, so there are additional activities on there. And the girls actually just love playing with the little pieces and just playing pretend with them, like coming up with their own little world and having them talk to each other and all of that kind of stuff. So this has been a really great addition. I'm super thankful that Simply Magic reached out. I will make sure I link it in the description. I know I already showed it on Instagram and there was a lot of interest. So I will make sure to put the link in the description of this video so that you can check this out specifically. But if there are other ones that you see, definitely check those out because it was kind of hard to choose. There are a lot of great options. And anything else really isn't that different. Things are just going really well and I'm really happy about that. September is going to be our big kind of like feeling it out, figuring out what does fit and what doesn't. As I said, we have a trip, so Evan and I are going to be in Mexico for a week. And on top of that, we are moving out of our home. So I don't even know how much I'm going to be even writing in my planner for the month of September. I might do more of like the reverse planning where I just focus on what we get done and write that down rather than trying to make a plan. September is also going to be the start of a lot of our fall activities. So I'm also keeping that in mind. Alani is going to be starting gymnastics. She's going to be back to rock climbing as well. And she is going to be starting theater. So that's at least on the weekends. And then Emmy is going to be starting soccer again. She really enjoyed a music class that we were doing throughout the summer. And I asked her if she wanted to do it again, and she doesn't. And I'm shocked. I don't know if she'll change her mind. Maybe she will. But she says she doesn't want to do it, so I'm not signing her up. She has loved every class, but if that's what she wants, then that's how we're going to do it. And if she changes her mind, it normally doesn't fill up. They have lots of different times and days. So we'll just get her signed back up. But I'm definitely not going to push anything. That was August for us, though. I do have some things that I purchased in August. There might be some things that I purchased ahead of time, but I'm going to gather a bunch of things up for just a haul, and it's going to be random. So if that is something you're interested in, make sure you're subscribed. I think that'll probably be my next video or the video after. And if you like these updates, videos like this, please make sure you hit the like button. If you have any questions, as always, put them in the comments. And thank you so much for your support on my channel. It means so much, and I really do appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.